For someone who meditates like I do, the real traveling is when I meditate on the format 1, format 2, and format 3 climatology or geography. In order to explain what I just meant, I need to ask you another question. Why do you travel? Some people travel because everybody else is traveling and it's cool. So for many people, it's a status symbol. Some people travel to learn about new places. And there are other people who travel because they want some change in the daily landscape that they see or the cityscape that they are used to. They want to experience a different climate, weather cycles, people, cultures, mindsets, beliefs, lifestyles. They want to forget their old lives in that place that they are supposed to stay by default. So, in a way, traveling is an escape into a new world. Now, this new experience when we travel occurs at two levels. The first one, we feel different because we are in a new place, and whatever we feel, it's a dopamine rush and adrenaline rush. Also, it's a lot of psychology that we are in a new place, and thus we should be happy. So this particular change in feelings is due to our own self. The other level of change in feelings we experience has got to do with the external environment we find ourselves in the new place. For example, we might be in a hot place, whereas we came from a cold place. Our old city might be so polluted, but the new place that we are in is so clean. So all those environmental factors will definitely makes us feel different. Similarly, the mannerism, the races, the various etiquettes of the people in that place would definitely be different from where we came from. Now, this is the geography of the physical world, but even though we are unable to pinpoint it, we feel that there is a difference that is even more pronounced, but yet we can't put a finger in it in this new place. We just feel life is different. The air is not only different, but the feeling that we get with the antennas of our body is very different. We can't put a name to that difference, but we know that it's real. That feeling affects our own thinking and our very concept of life. My proposition is that this change in feelings is due to the geography of the spiritual world, namely the format 1, format 2, and format 3 forces of nature. As you can see in the diagram, the real climate is consisting of sunlight, rain, rainbows, tornadoes, floods, and so on. Similarly, in the spiritual world, it consists of the three formats. What it means is that in some places, we just feel like getting wild and being carefree is the way to be. That would be a format one type of living. And that would be caused by heavy cloud or thick atmosphere of that particular format one. Then in some places, we would feel like life is all about status, looking good, being fashionable, being rich. Now, that would be an abundance of the atmosphere of format 2 in that particular place. That feeling would not only be reflected by the people, but by the architecture of the various houses and buildings in that area, as well as the roads, the various rules in the streets that are being implemented there. Still, in other places, we would feel that life is all about being austere, making sacrifices, being good, living for the family, doing your duty, following the rules. That would be a predominance of the format 3, force of nature, in that atmosphere. So I want you to go one step further than that. I want you to imagine going to the various places whereby the predominance of one of the three formats is higher than the others without actually having to go to that place. So, when you meditate, you are traveling. Earlier on, I told you to imagine to go to the Eiffel Tower in Paris and feel the place, see the tower. Now, I'm telling you to add one more component in your spiritual experience, that is to experience the mixture of the three formats in that particular place. That would be experienced very subtly, but it would manifest in your thinking, and as I told you earlier, also in new concepts of your life. In going to that place in your meditation, you would be surprised by your own change in thinking and what life is all about, what it is for, what is the purpose of life. That would change. And that is not just your doing, but it is because of the new atmosphere that you find yourself in. So, finally, in this section, I want to say that there is a difference even in the spiritual world when we go to different places, both physically when we travel and when we meditate using our soul. I want to continue on the above format geography by adding new layers to that theory. As you can see in the diagram, what I told you earlier about the combination of the three formats is represented by the pie diagrams in the middle. So we have six different combinations, and as you can see, I have placed them each below a particular place in the world map. Mind you that there is no particular reason why I made that combination for the three formats. It was random and just to make a difference between the six of them. Definitely there should be mixed ratio for different places of the formats. However, my research hasn't gone that far, so I will not be able to talk about it at this point. So what these pie diagrams below that world map are telling is that in some places people are more materialistic, that is format 2 oriented, and in some places they are more spiritual oriented, that is format 3 kind of living. Yet in other places they are more sensual, living for today, enjoying life as much as they can, and that is a format 1 kind of living. There is no pure place. If there was, it would be a madhouse. However, the ratio will be different in different places, as I mentioned you earlier on. You will notice that the pie diagrams in the map are located within the pentagram that we discussed earlier as the meditation blocks spiritual world. You'll recall that there are three layers, that of the living soul, the meta soul, and beyond the meta soul. So the variations in the ratio of the formats is the highest in the living soul level, and like the atmosphere and climate, weather is controlled by the oceans, high pressure, low pressure, sunlight in the physical world. In the spiritual world, it is influenced by the various the mythologies, beliefs, especially of religion and even science. Basically, the particular ratio of the formats is caused by the common beliefs and stories that particular group of people in that place believe in and follow and abide to. So that is what I represented with the various symbols of the religions at the top. And there could be other causes for that mixture of the three formats. I believe that there is a cosmic cycle also, and there are still more unknown factors that I might not be aware of. Next, you'll see the arrows coming out from each of the pie diagrams towards the apex at the bottom in the beyond the meta soul section. What I'm trying to say is that the more we go towards the meta soul and the beyond the meta soul, the less is there a difference in the beliefs, and thus the effect of the three formats, or maybe their very existence. Let me explain to you what it means. The more we meditate, as I told you earlier, the more we merge into the meta soul. When this happens, we are less affected by the three formats because our wiring itself has evolved, and also because, as you can see in the diagram, the existence of these three formats in whatever energy forms they are decreases as we go lower towards the apex. As a result, the person who gets into deeper meditation is less disturbed by the desires and urges that the world throws at us. It feels like you are a vast ocean, and no matter how many rivers flow into that ocean, it is not affected. You are just serene no matter what. You will do what you have to do, and you will know what is best for you. You will be able to enjoy the nectar of the three formats without actually following them, and as a result, you will not have to live with the downside of each of the format, namely the cortisol that we discussed earlier on. So it's a beautiful place to be, that is being merged in the metasoul. I believe being merged in the beyond metasoul level is still more blissful, but I wouldn't know because I haven't been there yet. The next aspect of geography of the spiritual world I want to talk about is the distribution of the population. The demographics of the physical world varies according to places and periods in the history. For example, in the 2020s, we have almost a negative birth rate. As the result, there are more older people than younger people. In some places, because of bias towards gender, there are more males than females. So that would be a demographic of today's world. Now, in the spiritual world, we could divide the population into new souls, which would be a lot of them, as you can see in the diagram. Then the young souls, which are a bit older than the young ones, new ones. And then the famous old souls, the wise nuts. These would be souls that have some awareness of their past lives. And then finally, we have the ascended souls who are able to transcend the living soul level in the earlier diagram and merge into the meta soul level. Now, this is what I have experienced in my meditation, and you can follow the same framework. It means that when you meditate, you can experience more new souls than young souls, than old souls, than ascended masters. And then you can see the line dividing them into masculine and feminine. Here it's more than just the gender and the sexual organs, which would not apply in the spiritual world actually. I'm talking about energy level kind of masculine and feminine here. So all those souls would either be of the masculine energy or the feminine energy. When we meditate, we have to make a choice which energy you are and which energy you want to combine with. So that's the geography of the population of the spiritual world. The diagram next to the population demography is the tentative political system in the spiritual world. Again, this is purely my own experience. They can never be a proof of what I'm going to say. But it's good to believe that there is some kind of sound political system in the spiritual world. At some level, there is an anarchy. It means that nobody listens to nobody else. Now, that would be true in the level of the ghosts, I guess. Again, I'm making a assumption that you would accept that the ghost world exists. However, if you do some research, many people have found ways to measure the presence of ghosts. So I would just leave it for you to investigate and make a judgment for yourself. And then at some levels, there would be a democracy. So the more souls agree on something, the more likely that thing is supposed to concur. Some places in the spiritual world, there could be a republic whereby there would be some rules that would be followed, a constitution. Myself, I don't prefer any of those three political systems. And the place I go to and stay more often is more of a oligarchy. I believe that there are few masters, few people who know best the superpowers, and combining their wisdom together, they are governing the others. In some cases, they give the impression to them that it's an anarchy, or it's a democracy, or it's a republic, but in fact, they are pulling the strings. So this is the level of the ascended masters, which myself I want to go to after I die in this life, as I've been telling you early on. Again, I'm not asking you to make a leap of faith in what I say. I'm just chipping in my own philosophies so that you can know me better. Whether you want to follow me or you want to hate me, it's up to you. And then at some level, at the stage of the beyond meta level, meta soul level, there would be a monarchy, and it would be a single energy, a single force that determines everything. It's mentioned in the various scriptures as the Om, or the original force. So that would be an interesting place to be. But I believe that you'd need to be totally impersonal and lose awareness of your ego to be in that stage. Otherwise, it would be any kind of monarchy that we see in the world that will eventually lead to dictatorship and disaster in the universe. Then, as I talked a lot about in my book, The Unified Theory of Motivation and Living, Part 1, we live an infinite universe, meaning that in that theory, this universe is not only of this one, which is 13 billion years, but this Big Bang and Big Crunch has been occurring for billions, trillions, infinite number of times. But what I'm trying to tell here is that with all those iterations and failures, I'm sure that even God has learned a lot on what's the right thing to do and what's not the good thing to do. Finally, when you meditate, you have to be aware of the economics in the spiritual world. In the physical world, as you can see in the diagram, the valuable service and goods we provide to others gives us currency in the form of dollars, pounds, rupees, and so on. And then we put it in a bank, and then we can purchase desired goods and services ourselves. The more money we have from the services we provide, the more goods and services we can purchase. And that is true at the individual level, community level, national level, and global level also. In the spiritual world, the real currency is the blessing that we get when we do good for others. It could be a help that we provide, or it could be a duty that we perform, or sacrifices that we make. All these causes the soul in other people to give you a blessing. And that is the real currency in the spiritual world. Now, that blessing increases your karmic bank balance, and that enables you not to purchase goods and services which are useless in the spiritual world, but It enables you to do more stuff, go further, and be anything in the spiritual world. I have shown it in the diagram by adding that earlier sets of diagrams representing the going, doing, and being, if you recall. So it's like playing a video game, and the more points you get, the higher the level you go, and the more flexibility you have, the more tools you have, and the more kind of moves you can do, the better looking you can become, the new places you can go. I mean, how cannot the spiritual world be more sophisticated than the video game? It has to be. And this is what I'm talking about here. Like getting points in a video game, you add your karmic balance by the blessings that other souls give you when you do good to them. That blessing doesn't have to be explicitly expressed, and it could be totally silent, or it could be totally absent also. It is the soul that gives the blessing, and sometimes it is expressed through words and actions, but other times it's just silence, but you will still get it. Now this blessing occurs like in the physical world, at the individual level, at the community level, at the national level, and at the global level. So if a whole community or nation does good to the other community and nations, then as a nation, the blessing will be increased, and it will be felt in expansiveness of their consciousness. Then, as we discussed about the six type of realities, that is the relation between the physical world and the spiritual world, it could possibly translate into a physical reality, that is this spiritual expansion due to the blessing. On the other hand, curses given by the souls because you do injustice, or you steal, or you hurt other living beings, have a negative effect on your karmic balance, and that will also affect your meditation. It will restrict the places you can go to, the things you can go do, and the various identities you can take up when you meditate. Also, that will be translated into physical events, like unwanted things that happen to you, accidents, sickness, failures, lawsuits, and so on. Of course, all these are related to your own karma, but curses increase the negativity and the damage, whereas blessing decreases them. So what I'm trying to say is that in the economics of the spiritual world, you need to add blessings by doing good to others, and you need to minimize, if not stop, the curses by not hurting and doing injustice to other people. You will consequently feel a direct increase in your spiritual powers, and that will also translate into physical bounty and happiness and abundance. Yet, it doesn't have to be immediate, and it will follow a quantum nature, meaning that the photon will decide whether it will behave like an atom or a wave. I'm sure you recalled the lesson I provided earlier, and you know what I meant. So finally, we have reached the end of this chapter. It must have felt like a roller coaster for you, because I talked about meditation processes, then I went into a tangent about the physics and geography of the spiritual world. I tried my best to tie those two concepts together, but at this end, I will again repeat, my objective is to help you practice unified meditation and enrich your practice. As I told you earlier, it was like a painting. The 10 steps were like the outline of the painting, and the later analogies I brought in were the colors, shades, and details of that painting as a whole. Now, you can meditate, and by practicing going, doing, and being in the spiritual world, you will increase the levels of your 13 components of consciousness as well as your superpowers. Upon reaching a certain level in your consciousness, things will start to begin in your life. New experiences, new sensations, new thinking, new states of being, new knowledge will unfold from deep inside of you. So, everything that I've taught you is a way to cultivate your self. However, depending on your own past life karmas and your current mission, you will develop your unique fruits. I cannot say what form they will take, but they will be really rich and tasty. Do not be discouraged if the fruits are not born soon or as fast as you wish they would. Keep practicing unified meditation in all the ways that I've been telling you. Thereby, one day, the doors of heaven will open and you will experience the meta soul. Eventually, after many years, you will be able to merge into the meta soul. And that's a very wonderful place to be. And the things you can do there are unimaginable at this point. And the personality that you'll become at that stage is everything you wanted to be but couldn't. And the most important part is that you will not be bothered by format 1 and format 2 or even format 3, forces of nature. It's total freedom that I promise you. Uncontaminated happiness, I promise you. The purest of the knowledge, I promise you. And eternal existence, I promise you. So keep up your practice of unified meditation.